So out of all these characters on King of the Hill, who is the crappiest, most ancient of them all? Now let's start with Peggy Hill. Peggy Hill, for the most part, is a good mother and a loyal wife. But the problem that I and a lot of other King of the Hill fans have with her is her personality. Now let's state the obvious. Peggy can sometimes be neurotic and narcissistic as hell and full of herself. And sometimes her actions can be questionable, even though her heart is in the right place. Example, when she sabotaged Lucky's test, and Lucky was Luann's soon-to-be husband, only because she didn't think that Lucky was good enough for her. And she's even so full of herself sometimes to the point where she tries to sabotage the people around her to make them feel like they're inferior to her. So yeah, that's a big no-no. Or is it the a-hole known as Consum Phone? Now, he has a hell of a superiority complex, thinking that he's smarter and better than his neighbors only because he's a Laotian immigrant. Now, he wouldn't be so insufferable if he didn't think that he was better than everyone. But out of all the things that Khan did to piss me off during the whole series, what really took the cake for me was when Bill, his next door neighbor, fell for his mother, and Khan did everything he could to sabotage their little relationship. If that's not crappy behavior, I don't know what is. Cotton Hill, Hank Hill's father. Where the hell do I start? He was born in the 1920s, so you know that he's prejudiced. He's a horrible father, an even more horrible husband. The only thing that he can really say is that he was somewhat of a good father to his third son, which he calls Good Hank. I guess half of the reason why he's such a crappy person is because of the trauma that he went through, but guess what? That made him a bad father because all the trauma that he went through in his childhood and younger years, he took it out on Hank, which is not fair to Hank. But a plus side is that he is a good grandfather to Bobby. But other than that, he's a crappy person. He even cursed himself on his own deathbed. Now you knew the thought of Arlen was going to be on here. Nancy Hicks Gribble, or Nancy Redcorn. But she really is a crappy person for tricking Dale for the past 15 years into thinking that her child is actually his and not John Redcorn. Now, Nancy is a crappy character for hiding this for Dale for the last 15 years, but then again, I guess so is everybody else who knows in the whole neighborhood. So, 80% of the whole King of the Hill cast. But her karma is that she really doesn't deserve a husband like Dale, even though Dale is a freaking idiot. And he may not be an idiot, he may just be oblivious as hell. But yes, that's why Nancy's crappy. Buck Strickland. Now, you wouldn't expect his name to come up a lot, but thing is, there's two reasons. One, he treats Hank like a tool instead of an actual person or an employee. And number two, there was an episode where his mistress accidentally offed herself, and to add even more insult to injury, he tried to frame Hank for the... So yeah, for that, Buck is a crappy ass character. And last but not least, Hoyt Platter, Luann's father. He's a deadbeat, he's a con artist, and a convict, and the only reason why he wants anything to do with her is just so he can feed and leech off of their family. If that's not crappy, I don't know what is. But yeah, out of these, who is the crappiest and most ancient character out of this King of the Hill roster? Or did I leave anybody out?